Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we are going to be covering some strange TikTok trends. Now, well, actually, we are going to be covering a specific strange TikTok trend, and I don't even really know how to describe this one, honestly, because it's just a little bit over the top, in my personal opinion. But we are going to try our hardest to articulate my exact thoughts and feelings and such on this topic. So, there has been a very strange occurrence as of lately. There has been a fairly large amount of people who just continually claim that they are what is known as an empath. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, 90% of anybody who is using this word correctly on the internet is um they're lying through their teeth. I'm sorry, but they really are. If somebody truly feels the need to advertise that they have some sort of strange gift, then they don't actually have that gift. Like, if I were to be actually advertise three-quarters of the stuff that I am able to do or that I think or feel, like, there's no. No, 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 no. Oh, Lord. So, the way that most of these people on TikTok are using the word empath is quite literally they are using it in the same sense of any human being who experiences the feeling of having empathy. And it just seems weird. It honestly just feels like it's a fad, and it's quite strange to me. So we are going to look at one or two of these real quick before I get into some actual thoughts.
Y'all, it is literally midnight and I'm bawling my eyes out. No particular reason. I just saw a video of somebody else crying and now I'm crying.
So this doesn't particularly make sense to me. Like, well, it does. There's like a scientific thing. Like, it's an emotional reaction. When you see somebody who is upset or in an emotional state, sometimes you just automatically start crying. It's like a reaction. It's kind of like when you see somebody smiling and you can't help but smile back. It's quite literally just an emotional. Yeah, there's no real. There is a scientific explanation for it, but I don't actually know what it is, to be completely honest. It's to do with your brain chemistry. Like, most people, when they see the way that people are reacting in an emotional state, they will typically. Their brain will start to react in that exact same way just because you feel terrible that that person feels terrible, or you are happy that that person is happy, or you are upset that that person is upset. Like, that's a natural cognitive reaction. That's not being an empath. And actually being an empath is like a specific type of power, I will call it. You are literally able to feel all of the feelings of everybody around you and project different feelings to other people around you. Like, that is the actual definition of an empath. They are a mystical, supernatural type being. Most people who are saying that they have this don't fudging have this. The most prominent example that I can come up with for this one is quite literally Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, that's the most prominent. There's no. Like, I can't think of any actual human beings who display the type of ability that that woman has. I'm sorry. I mean, you can sort of like feel an energy in the room at in a small level, and you can like understand and empathize that other people are feeling a certain way and start to feel that way yourself simply because that person around you is feeling that way, but you don't have a superpower, my dear. It is the simple human ability to empathize, and that is what I'm going to say to you. I, I don't know what to tell you other than. Okay, the next one.
Here are some secrets that most empaths
Four
do not
things
want to
empaths
admit
don't want
and
to
don't
admit
want you
and
to
don't
know.
want you to know.
But I'm going to do you a solid and let you in. Now, if you have an empath in your life, chances are they are a sweet, kind, loving person. And it may surprise you to know that they
That's
carry a lot
most
of anger.
people who are sweet, kind,
Oh,
and
yeah.
loving.
Oh, yeah. They might not even know how much they're carrying. But just know that as tender and sensitive and soft as they are, they're deeply angry as well because they've had to put up with a lot of BS
Every quiet person
and have
ever.
had to put up with people not considering or noticing or feeling things the way that they do. And when they feel every single thing and consider every single thing, you can get a little resentful at the world when you feel very alone and
Well,
not considered in it.
that's
Another
literally
secret,
anyone and
they're not
everyone.
weak. And once again, some of these things are secrets even to an empath. Some people don't even know this yet about themselves. But the thing is, they get perceived to be weak because they feel so many things and they're very emotional. But what's kind of paradoxical about that is the fact that they are moving through the world, feeling things at the depth that they do, and that they're still functioning, kind human beings is evidence of a level of strength and power that is mind blowing. So never underestimate an empath, okay? Don't think that they're weak and small because they cry a lot or
Okay,
they
okay,
feel a
okay,
lot or
okay.
they consider a
What
lot.
you are
They're
describing, my
strong as
dear,
fuck.
is the typical experience of every human being who has ever lived, and you are. This is not a special thing. Like, everybody gets upset, everybody gets hurt, everybody has a weird amount of different emotions that they have bottled up over time, unless they're an extremely, extremely healthy individual, like both mentally and physically. There is absolutely no one on earth who has not had these types of feelings in one way, shape, or form, because everybody feels like they have been pushed backwards a little bit. Like, everybody has some sort of a deep seated anger inside of them about one thing or another. There's no, like, personally, my deep seated anger is people who do drugs. If you do drugs, especially if you're going, if you have children and you do drugs, like, you have made a choice, especially if you, like, don't spend time with your children so that you can go do drugs, you have made a conscious choice to choose narcotics over your child. In my mind, I will always have a weird amount of blind rage about that type of thing, but anyways, um continue. Let's continue.
Now, as empaths work to build their boundaries and learn to communicate what's true for them, many of them are people pleasers and will not say this to you. So I'm going to say it on behalf of all of those who are still building the muscle to speak for themselves. But your feelings are not
People
their
please
responsibility.
Being a people
So yes,
pleaser
of
is
course,
not
if
a
you have a
sign of
friend
being
who
an
is an
empath.
empath, go to them when you're going through things. They are the best people to go to. But make sure that you're not using the empath in your life to constantly just dump all of your emotions because they're so good at absorbing them.
Oh my
And you walk
lord.
away feeling better, and they walk away feeling heavier than a ton of bricks. Which
So
again is their
basically,
responsibility.
if you are
But
a,
I'm just giving
according
you
to
a
this
heads up
woman,
here for
if you
all of
are
those empaths that you
a
care about,
human
something to
being who
consider.
cares about
I
other
also don't
human
want you to know
beings,
that they are
you are
secretly terrified that
automatically
they will never
an
find somebody
empath.
who loves them the way that they love. So if you have an empath in your life or you are
Oh,
with an empath
honey,
as a partner,
you are something else. You should love everybody in your life deeply and considerately, and there's absolutely nothing in this that this woman is actually saying that has any effect on the actual being of an empath. Like, this is just the average human experience on a basic level. I don't. So basically, what I'm hearing here is that there is no actual definition of being an empath. It's just every human who experiences the experience of empathy. Is that what I'm being told right now? Okay then. So that's cool. Whatever. Okay,
I'm an
next.
empath, and I've always had love for people, and I didn't understand why. Like, even when they do me wrong, I'm still kind and loving. People confuse you when you are like that. They tell you, oh, you're too weak, you're gonna be used.
That's just generally being a nice person. And I've been told that I am too nice and all of that stuff. Like, literally, everything that this woman has just said, I have quite literally been told myself. So I am not really the person who is like, it's it's quite literally just the effects of being a kind human being who has any amount of the ability to empathize within them. That is what this is boiling down to. If you have the ability to empathize, then apparently you are considered an empath. And I personally don't agree with that. I don't like being an actual empath is a real thing. Like there's uh, this one. There's a new one.
The hardest part about being someone who's empathetic is that when people hurt you or treat you bad, is you can understand why. You
Why
know,
is the
you see
audio
what's
so
going on
shitty?
in their life. You understand why they're
Once
doing it.
again, they're not saying anything that isn't just the average human
So it's hard for you to be
experience.
mad or upset with them.
And I'm
But
gonna
it
be
still
completely
hurts.
honest here. Not only is the audio like really, really crappy, but at the same time, once again, they're just stating the obvious about the atypical human experience. And it's just, uh, this is quite literally what every single human being on Earth goes through every single day. And you're trying to make it seem like it's a special, specific thing that only affects you. It doesn't only affect you. It's something that everybody who actually has any amount of emotions, anybody who isn't a complete and utter psychopath, has empathy. Anyone who was not born without emotion has the ability to empathize and like understand other people's emotions. There's no this is just the average human experience. And there is a difference between an actual empath and somebody who simply has the ability to empathize. Somebody who is actually an empath is not going around advertising that they have this weird ability to be able to read all of the emotions in the room or be able to manipulate other people's emotions. Like they're not advertising that because automatically everybody would be coming to them and trying to figure out all of their issues and trying to figure out different ways to make themselves feel better without any regard for said person in general, just because hey, they can help me, they can fix it. No. And you know what? Anybody who actually has any kind of ability like this knows already that this is exactly what's going to happen, so they're not going to put themselves in that kind of position. Like automatically, they're just not. And anybody who is like purposely putting themselves in that kind of a position is not really they're probably not exactly right in the head, to be completely honest. Like they're anybody who is purposely trying to make it so that everybody's paying attention to them specifically so that they can have it makes me think of like My Hero Academia. Everybody's so excited and everybody's so anxious to get a quirk. Like, ooh, you need a quirk. Bro, calm down. Not everybody has to have something weird about them. Everybody is already an individual. And jumping onto some kind of weird bandwagon claiming that, like, just because you've seen 10, 20, 30 other people jump onto this exact same bandwagon and, like, get all creepily emotional and, like, start acting on camera, like, that's not. Eh. Anyways, let's get into the next video. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, that creeped me out. Um Can we, like, get a playback on that one? Because, what? People feeling uncomfortable in awkward situations. Why does he look so creepily happy? I don't like that. Like, nobody acts like that. Nobody feels like that. Nobody makes that face in an awkward situation. That is messed up. Like, this is getting to an extreme point. I don't even really know where I'm going with this anymore, but I'm actually getting a little bit weirded out by the fact that everybody's on here like, oh, we're gonna pretend that this is what's going on. And it's just like, no, buddy, no, you are freaking the whole world out. But okay, whatever. Okay, guys. So, I have decided to bring in my wonderful, perfect person because he is much more articulate than I am and can explain everybody's thoughts on absolutely everything much better than I can. So, we're gonna...
Is that true?
Yeah, that's pretty true. At least I think it is. I don't know if anybody... We're gonna find out. We will know shortly. I keep knocking into stuff.
How to know if you're an awakened empath? Here are the 5 signs.
You can't be an
You no
awakened...
longer watch the news. You recognize that what's
You're either
happening in the
already
world
that way...
really doesn't have any
Nobody
bearing on
watches the
you.
fudged news
You may have
anymore.
stopped watching TV altogether.
Grandparents
You
do.
may not even own a TV.
Yeah, but do you know how stressed they are?
Number 2, you experience a lot of synchronicity, like repeating numbers, and you know that these are messages from your spirit guides.
That's just a typical thing. Everybody
Number
has
3,
repeating
you're
numbers
eating
happen throughout
way
their...
healthier. You just have cravings for fruits and vegetables, foods of this earth. You may no
That's just
longer
a part
have
of growing
cravings for
up.
sugar or alcohol. Number 4, you've fully accepted yourself. You no longer take things personally. You have a very non-judgmental attitude, and you can accept.
Oh, this is just how that. This is just being healthy, like growing up and being healthy.
Yeah.
Only positive.
Like
people.
mentally, physically.
People who
This
bring
is
up
just
your energy,
discovering your own mental health.
How to know
And okay, the next one. Okay, here is the next one. It says, yeah, try and make it bigger. How do I make you bigger? God damn you!
Get bigger.
Get bigger! I need to read.
Bigger.
Okay. Bigger. Bigger. Oh gosh. Okay, we can read it now.
Okay.
Okay, the next one, it starts, it says that empathy is a gift of yours. Letting people treat me however they want because maybe they're going through something traumatic and I never want to be the reason that someone feels bad. Well, there's a thing about that. The thing about that is that nobody who cares about anyone in their life wants anybody else to feel badly. And everybody's always taking into consideration other people's thoughts and feelings and whether or not they have something going on in their life that they're not telling anybody about. There's a fucking spider there.
Is that a spider?
It's a jumping spider.
Get it.
They're fast.
Gas. I got it.
Oh, that wasn't even the spider. The spider's right here.
You imploded it. Alright.
Yeah, spiders are scary. Says the woman who just clapped it between 2 canvases and just flopped it like.
Okay. Yeah. So back to this. First off, I'm upset with her grammar. She's wrong there. Anyways, however they want because maybe they are going through something traumatic, and I never want to be the reason someone feels bad about themselves. I mean, yeah, everyone like that has some form of empathy, so I would like to say 90% of the population. can like actually wants this. They don't want people that they care about to feel worse because of them. They don't want them to feel worse. Period.
Well, no.
Like, but it doesn't mean you let them treat you however you want. You're still a human being. Your feelings are still valid, obviously. Like,
Yeah.
just because, you know, someone else might be going through something bad doesn't mean you need to harm yourself to keep them safe.
Yeah.
I mean, there are times where you might have to do that, but a constant, like, being trampled on is just, it's not healthy. It's not good for you.
Yeah. I agree with that. You were saying? But yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, there's anybody who has any amount of caring for anybody else in their life just doesn't want to affect anyone in a negative way, especially if they're not sure if somebody else has something going on in their life that could possibly be affecting the way that they're acting emotionally or reacting to certain things. Like, but you also can't, like, put yourself through any kind of a destructive thing just to make yourself feel like you're...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm smart.
Knows that empaths have the ability to feel and absorb other people's energy and emotion. But what a lot of
This is
empaths
the
don't know
only
is that this
correct
goes both
person
ways.
so far. And they're
Empaths
still
have
not
the
right.
ability to project energy and emotion outwardly to fundamentally change the mood and the energy of a room or a social situation.
The dog in the background is just making me happy.
What is dog doing?
And do it quietly and inconspicuously. So I'm not talking about saying or doing anything through your outward behavior to cheer people up or change the mood of the room. I'm talking about just quietly projecting a different energy and your intention into the room and watch how quickly it changes. As an empath, you can pick up on the negative emotions and energy and process that, alchemize that, the same way that you would process or self-regulate your own negative emotions, except you're going to do this on behalf of the people around you.
Okay,
Now,
but
once
you can't regulate other people's emotions. Nobody else is actually able to do that without actually sitting down and having a full conversation with somebody so that they can, like, actually...
Or performing some action without, you can't do it without, like, outward stimuli affecting them. Like, this, like, what I was thinking of this was, you know that meme where there's, like, people in the party dancing and there's that one person, of course, like, they don't know I'm blank.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, it's this guy at parties in the corner. He's like, they don't know I'm projecting good vibes to them.
When in all reality, it's just everybody's having a good time around them anyway, so it's
Yeah.
like...
He's just missing out on the party himself at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, the whole thing with, like, energy work and things like that and manipulating energy fields, like...
The other person has to know that you're doing it, for one.
Well,
Like, you
not
have to be
just that.
willing to have your energy manipulated.
it's also... There is no... like, I look at this from a speculative point of view. There's no actual proof that energy work is a real thing, sadly. There's no physical proof.
Oh, that hurt my pride to hear.
I know, and the sad thing is I know there's people in my life that do energy work, and it's like, yeah, I believe it, but I don't fully believe that's what you're doing. I think it's more of just, like, like, if you exude a calming nature and behavior, that's more likely to affect somebody's, you know, personal energy than if you just stare at them and hover your hands over them.
And there's also the placebo effect, too. Like, if they truly believe that it's going to work, like the person who they're doing it for, like, if that person really, really, truly believes that it's going to work, then it's going to minorly work because they're thinking that it's working.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the human mind is extremely powerful in manipulating our physical and mental capabilities.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen those placebo things. Like, there's a thing online, and you can read about it. I can't even remember the link for it, and I don't want to relook it up, so I'm not going to do that. But there's, like, studies that were made that, like, they did a medical study, and there was, like, 100 people involved, and they gave, like, 20% of them real medication, and they gave the other 60% of them placebos. And most of the people who were, like, experiencing any kind of side effects or anything were, like, the placebo takers. Like, some of the people who were taking the actual drug did experience the side effects, but this medical study was specifically on placebo drugs, and they didn't tell the people that they were doing a study on placebos when they signed up.
Yeah.
But most of the people who were, like, experiencing the symptoms of the drugs were the people who were, like, taking the placebos because they convinced themselves that they were going to have these symptoms.
Yeah. It was a blind case study. And yeah, it's so they got like majority of them got like sugar pills. Some of them actually got the medication, and yeah, it just shows that your thoughts do have a major effect. Like your belief has a major effect on your body, which has been shown time and time again with, you know, like you said, placebo, as well as hysteria and mass hysteria.
Oh, yeah.
Where people, if, like, there's been, like, you know, small towns during, like, the 19th century and stuff, where a person would come down with a sickness, right?
Yeah.
And it would be fairly serious, and everybody else thinks they're getting sick, so they exhume the, you know, the effects and everything of that sickness, but they're actually not sick.
Yeah, and wasn't there, like, the one of, like, the dancing town?
Oh,
like,
yes.
everybody in this specific community literally danced themselves to death because they were convinced that they had to keep dancing, and it was, like, some kind of weird illness.
Oh, I'm trying to remember what the story behind that was.
It was...
But it yes.
started with, like, one woman dancing in the town square, and she literally just said that she couldn't stop dancing, and she thought that she was ill.
Mm-hmm.
And then, all of a sudden, everybody around her just broke out into dance. It's friggin' great.
Yeah. But, and, you know, with upgrades to how we connect with everybody around us, you know, you would think that, you know, with the amount of information, everything out there, and, you know, I would hope better education, that people will be less susceptible to hysteria. But I think there's a huge part of it now is that there is such a huge connection between people.
Oh, yeah.
And sadly, a lot of people aren't going through the right avenues to, you know, to fact check, you know, whether it's a physical ailment or mental ailments, or, you know, an ability that some people believe they have. So, like, going back to empathy, the empaths,
Yeah.
you know, like, I also think that empathy, like, empaths, is just people not understanding their own, like, not having enough mental intelligence or experience to realize that this is a normal thing.
Speaking of empaths, we're not even going to finish that video because that literally just started getting stupid, but here's the next one.
Your stoic energy and you being so close to your shadow is because you are a dark empath. As a dark empath, you have to understand that you are not evil. You've had to acquaint yourself with the dark sides of your shadow in order to maintain the survival.
Buddy.
This is why you are perceived as very closed off, because you maintain a spiritual distance when interacting with people on an emotional level.
Most people do that.
Complexities within yourself, and this is why you often get caught up in your mind. This is why dark empaths can struggle with mental health, because they understand the facets in which create them. You have to release
Or
your
they just
demons
have
from your
mental health
spirit
issues
and put
because
them
they've
to
been through a
rest.
lot of trauma.
You have the ability to transmute that energy once you shift the frequency within your vibration. You need to release this feeling from your spirit and know it's okay to find peace. You are a
Okay, so what I'm getting from this is that what this person is referring to as dark empaths, or Yeah, dark empaths is quite literally just a person who has a lot of built up trauma over the years, that has dealt with a lot of difficult situations, that has not figured out ways to heal themselves, and they are super duper sensitive and probably dealing with a lot of different mental health issues that were literally caused by their traumatic experiences. And once again, that's just a part of life. That's a part of the typical human like, that's literally just a part of most people's human experience. More people experience abusive or traumatic situations than people who don't. Like, there's
Yeah, well, it's people don't realize this, but it's a very easy to become traumatized, and a lot of people don't really realize that. Like, it could be anything from a small thing to a big thing, but like, yeah, it's so common to have trauma as a human being, because around us there's constantly on the news you get vicarious trauma, and like through the internet you can easily get vicarious trauma. In your life, if you lose family members, friends, pets, livelihoods, stuff like that, that can easily traumatize you as well. Like, people see trauma as like only for people that are like first responders or people in the military, people that have been in the thick of it.
Well, I mean, when I think of like trauma, I think of like most abusive situations, not like losing your job or.
Yeah, but it can still be traumatic.
That is, yeah.
It still affects.
Oh, there's a birdie outside. Hi, birdie.
It can still permanently affect, or at least affect, your psychological state, because it changes your way of thinking, and your way of thinking changes your behavior. And your behavior and your behavior and your mental mindset coincide and work off of each other. So if your brain adapts to something, your body will too, and once your body adapts, your brain will more as well.
Still, I wouldn't call like losing your job like a traumatic experience unless it's like something stupid, like somebody came in and complained about something that didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking like losing your livelihood. So like if you're like a cattle rancher, and you like lose your whole flock, right? If you lose every single one.
See, that's just flat out detrimental, and that is sadly a reality of life when it comes to certain things, and that would be fairly difficult to deal with and go through. But at the same time, most people who have a ranch have a backup plan. It's not just.
Yeah. But still, I'm just stating that. The point I'm trying to make is that it can happen to everybody. It's more common than people think.
Yeah.
And some people don't even a lot of people don't even realize that they've been traumatized until they've really dug deep down. So yeah, like it's a thing everybody goes with. It's just there's different layers. It's just like most things with behavior and psychology, it's on a spectrum.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's watch the next one. Being overly empathetic is exhausting, and you'll sacrifice your needs for the needs of others. Think it makes you a nice person. This is just sheerly stupid. I'm not even really
That was
including
crazy.
that.
I mean, it's TikTok, so what do I expect?
It is. It's TikTok. Okay, what's this one say? Signs you might be a psychic empath. You absorb others' emotions and often mistakes for your own. People confide in you easily and they trust you and open up quickly. Crowds overwhelm you. This is just social anxiety. This is literally just social anxiety. So what this girl here is describing is flat-out social anxiety. And I only know this because I have social anxiety and I get overwhelmed in crowds, and yes, I am an old soul and I have trouble dealing with new people, and I do have a weird tendency to over empathize and people please, but that's partially because I have social anxiety and I feel a weird, overly compensative need to like blend in so that nobody notices me. Which is weird because I'm on YouTube and everybody, it's basically trying to get people to notice you, but this is also a part of my self-appointed therapy to help myself deal with my social anxiety, so what the fuck ever. Anyway, literally what this woman is describing is social anxiety, and it is, even for me, like, it's taken me so long just to be comfortable on camera altogether, so just to see somebody explaining social anxiety and calling it being a psychic empath is just ridiculous. And once again, a psychic empath is Mantis from the Guardians of the Galaxy. You were supposed to say it.
Sorry.
It's okay.
But yeah, because she can touch you, know exactly what you're feeling. She can project feelings onto you by touching you.
Yeah. So,
like, people can do that, but it's not the same.
and I'm pretty sure the Mantis does have social anxiety, but that's just because she was literally raised by herself in a freaking, literally alone with just her creepy dad who was planning to eat her brother. Like, it's take over the world. She was raised by a creepy god. Like,
at least in the movies. Yeah.
At least in the movies.
But yeah, she's also socially inept.
I was talking about the character herself, but
yeah. But it's like the difference in the comics and the movies. But yeah, so essentially, what these people are doing is labeling already known psychological behaviors and just putting a psychic spiritual twist on it.
Yes, exactly.
And it's just like, I get the understanding of wanting to put like your own struggles as a positive thing, like trying to swap it, and like you see a lot with like the ADHD, with people with ADHD, where it's a hard thing to deal with, but a lot of them also see it as a really good thing. They see it as a superpower.
See, that's just it. ADHD, it is a disability in many, many ways. It is very, very difficult to deal with. It is one of those things you can't focus on anything most of the time. Like, you are literally doing 4 different things at once, but you can't do all 4 things at once because your attention is all messed up, so you're just trading between all 4 things. It literally takes you all day just to do 4 things because you're going back and forth between everything. Do you know how often I'll start cleaning the living room, and then I'll remember that I was already cleaning the kitchen, and then I'll walk away from the mess in the living room, and then walk back into the living room and rediscover my own crime scene of never cleaning the mess up in the first place?
Oh yeah, I know.
Just
well,
or the buffer, like the fact that your brain moves so much faster than your body, like you are literally stopping 7 times while you're trying to move just so that you can remember what you were thinking about 3 seconds ago because your brain already shot 5 thoughts ahead.
It's like your cognitive functions are trying to catch up with your brain.
Yeah. Do you know how many times I've just stood there like just to go between reaching for things because I'm like
Cass, you're like a Sims character.
I know, it's sad.
You go into places and you're like, what was I doing? I'm just going back to the toilet. I'm going back into the swimming pool. Where did the ladder go? God, why?
Ladder's on the other side of the pool.
Make house for Sim. Take old windows and doors out.
No.
That's what my brain feels like.
Do I really do that to you?
No. I do that to you.
Gosh. Okay. The
On the
next
next
one.
We're not even watching the whole clips.
I know.
Yeah.
With people is truly a superpower. And I wanted to break down a concept that I think a lot of us, if we understood better,
Communication isn't a superpower, though.
No, didn't she say empathy is?
including your spouse, your partner, your friends, and the list goes on. So, and that is the ability to either empathize with people.
What is this, My Hero Academia? 80% of the people have
What a lot
superpowers?
of people do is they choose sympathy, and sympathy is the root cause of disconnection. When you sympathize with someone, you're feeling sorry for them. No one in the world wants to feel sorry for themselves, and worse, they don't want people to feel sorry for them. So that is something that immediately disconnects you from the other person in conversation. Vice versa, if you empathize with someone, it's the ability to connect with the other person because it makes the other person feel like you're almost in it with them. Someone tells you they've had a bad day or they're going through something. Instead of saying, I feel so bad or I'm so sorry, your response would be like, man, that really sucks. That is so hard to go through. Right away, it causes you to connect with the other person because the other person feels like
She's
wow,
just
this
saying the
person's
same
in it
thing
with me
over and
it's
over and
instant
over.
connection. Communication being
It doesn't feel like she's actually.
able to connect with people and
I mean, she's right about the empathy versus sympathy thing.
quality relationships in your life.
But at the same
Sympathy
time,
is the ability to, like, feel sorry for somebody. Empathy is the ability to understand the feelings that they're feeling.
yes.
Um,
I mean, like, there are ways to sympathize with people and empathize with them at the exact same time, but it should not be more important to sympathize with them than it is to empathize with them. But there are also people who do not possess the power of empathy, and these are people who I like to call psychopaths. But yeah, psychopaths, sociopaths, some narcissists don't possess the ability to utilize emotions, but that's because they've decided that they don't want to utilize emotions. That's a huge on its own spectrum thing. But most human beings, like 98% of the human population, has the ability to empathize. Everyone should have empathy on some level. So,
if you have the cognitive function to understand,
yes.
then you know, some people, it just, the wires in the brain, then, you know, just don't work out to that, and that's what you're talking about with, people with antisocial disorders and things like that. But a lot of people do have, like, majority of people, like you said, have empathy. I just think a lot of people just aren't taught how to utilize it properly.
Yeah.
Or they get, like, they are quite empathetic and feeling for other people, but their, you know, traumas in the past have gotten them to hide it because it's been used against them, because you were trying to understand and feel for somebody, but they were trying to make it worse for you.
They were, like, turning around, you're trying to understand and help them feel better and making you feel like crap in the process. So that is a thing that does happen a lot, and like I say, that's usually stems from multiple abusive situations that most people go throughout life. And I'm not saying that everybody has a lot of abusive situations that they've had to deal with, but I'm saying that a lot of people have, and there's just shutting yourself down. It should not be the way to deal with that, but that is the way that a lot of people deal with it, and it's not exactly healthy, but at the same time, there isn't really a whole lot that anybody can do to change that fact. Like, it has to be your own.
I've been saying this for years. We need more social programs.
We do.
We need better mental health programs. We need, like, especially in, like, you know, ways that you don't pay for it, like public social programs.
I don't forget it. God damn, there's something wrong with my brain. Anyways, continue. Next clip.
The way that they should care about you. They will go out of the way to make you feel important and cared for. They'll be gentle with you.
What's up with the fake crying to the shitty voiceover? And why is she poking herself in the eye?
Getting the boogers out.
To get more tears out? Poke yourself in the eye, bitch. Make yourself cry. Fake that empathy that you can't have because that's not even your real freaking voice. I'm actually certain that people who like, okay, this is gonna sound so rude. People who like post fucking videos of themselves crying and poking themselves in the eye to make themselves cry more and like doing crappy voiceovers and like poopy acting. Like, people who do that actually scare the shit out of me because there is absolutely no way that they actually have empathy. They are literally mimicking an emotion at that point. That is something that literal diagnosed psychopaths do so that they can fit into natural society. The only people who I know who can make themselves cry on demand are diagnosed psychopaths and literal actors who have figured out ways to like they're literally thinking of the saddest thing that they can possibly think of, or they're thinking of like deceased relatives or like the weirdest thing that you could ever imagine that's gonna make them cry.
I mean, I can get myself to cry.
Can you get yourself to cry?
I'm not gonna do it on camera because that would just be embarrassing. But yes.
I mean, I literally, like, bawled my face off reading somebody's letter to their pet while I was doing a Reddit video one day, so... And then I, like, had to turn the camera off. I'm just like, I wasn't expecting to fall today! Yeah.
I mean... Yeah. Like, sometimes I have to think of movies, other things I just think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just think.
Nuked. When you're an empath and your friend's getting hurt, hurts you.
Getting what?
When your friend's getting hurt hurts you.
Oh.
That's literally every human being on this gosh darn planet who gives a flying fudge about anyone who they care about. If you care about absolutely anyone in your life in any way, shape, or form, and even a single half of an iota, it hurts you when they are emotionally hurting. This is just human behavior. This is just the human experience. I'm starting to get pissed off with this. What is wrong with Generation Z?
I mean, us.
I refuse. I have forever and will forever refuse to identify myself as a Gen Zer. I don't know what the fuck I am, because I don't fit in with the millennials either, but I am not one of them.
You know, like avocado and toast.
I fucking hate avocado.
You'd be able to afford a house if you stopped eating avocado.
This is gonna sound so weird. I actually hate avocado with the same fiery passion of 1,000 suns that I hate peas.
I like avocado. Anyways,
it's one of those things that I will eat it if I absolutely have to eat it, but the texture and flavor is just both so gross.
Okay, so yes, honey, I just want to get back.
Sorry.
Back to what we were doing.
Okay.
Like it seemed like people are trying to show themselves as special or different for feeling these feelings, not realizing that it's a normal thing.
Like I said earlier, it's literally My Hero Academia. Everybody's just fucking hot and heavy to have a quirk.
Well, yeah, it's everybody, you know.
Sorry, everybody wants to have some kind of different thing about them. I'm sorry.
I forgot.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry I had to make the joke.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, I feel bad now.
No, it was more of, this is a normal thing that people are portraying as something special when it's not. I think it's good for us to strive for empathy, and I guess it's okay for us to make it seem like a special thing if it means more people are going to go out and try to be empathetic. So that's a good thing, but there's a difference between being empathetic and faking it. And the issue is when people try to normalize emotions that they do not have in being fake. And not showing who they are as an authentic self. Because some people just don't have that ability, like they have the ability within them somewhere to be empathetic. Like, not everybody that doesn't know how to understands their own empathy is a psychopath or antisocial person with antisocial disorder or any form like that.
Well, no, that just means that you still have empathy. You just don't understand it.
You don't understand it. You don't know how to utilize it. And that's why it's like people need more like growing up, especially in like the developing years, especially need more education on emotional intelligence to realize that these are normal things, and it's good for people to like. Out of any trend ever, I would rather have people trending to be good to each other and to understand each other than being like, hot water challenge, y'all, and fucking putting boiling water on their brother that's in the shower. Like, it's a good thing. It's just that they're not getting, they're specializing it, they're spiritualizing it, when really it is a very quite normal psychological aspect of being a human. Like, behaviorally, it is.
And what kind of gets to me is, like, all of these people are acting like everybody else in the world is, like, early stages Vegeta.
Everyone just has over amounts of pride and will get just so angry and, like, would rather destroy the freaking planet or the universe over them getting their pride stomped on.
Yes.
It's like, oh, Cell, it's okay, you can take Android 18 and become perfect. No, humanity's not like that. It may seem like that because social media is so skewed in a direction of showing the most popular, and a lot of popular stuff nowadays is controversial.
Yeah.
So people are normalizing controversy where they should be normalizing actual normal human behaviors that you see in the real world and not.
What really bothers me about, like, the mainstream controversy thing is that everybody always has to be either so far to the left or so far to the right, and they're not seeing the fact that there is a common ground in between that is actually better for everybody in the entire world. Like, politically, especially politically speaking, there's, like, the far left and then there's the far right. And the fact of the matter is that if they can't figure out a way to have a middle ground and one of them keeps winning over the other, it's just going to be a continual bunch of bull cheese, because literally they cannot see eye to eye on anything. It's getting to a point where it's like, and the fact of the matter, I honestly don't think that they have completely separate beliefs on a lot of different things. I think that they have the exact same belief system type deal and the exact same wanting everybody to have a good life and wanting everybody to succeed and achieve and live a happy, healthy way. Like, everybody wants to save the world and nobody can agree on how to do it.
Good Fallout quote.
Thank you.
Good old Maximus, one intelligence character.
It's true, though, is the worst part.
Because everybody has their own idea. But the thing is, everybody wants to save the... Yeah, like you said, everyone wants to save the world different ways. How? But people's views on what that world will be in the end is different. Right?
Yes.
But, like, when you get down to the little nitty-gritty, everybody wants to be happy, healthy, and, unless you're, just a person full of hatred.
Yeah.
Yeah. But everyone wants to be, happy, healthy. Everyone wants to, like, do their passions. Everybody wants to see the people they love flourish and, become better, and for society to become better. It's just that people's ideas of what the better is. And that can be severely skewed
Yeah.
by beliefs, in other people. Like, I find it like a lot nowadays that beliefs wise, people don't like. A lot of people just do what like they follow, right?
Yeah.
They see something that they agree with, which is fine. Which is fine. They see something they agree with and they go with it, even though there might be aspects of that belief system,
I want to end this
whether
on
it's spiritual, political, ideological, whatever.
end this on a wholesome note. The only actual possible empath in my entire video compilation. Look at his sweet little face. He's so upset because his little brother got a boo-boo.
Aww.
Oh.
Good brother.
It is, like, that's, this is just being a good sibling, like, this is just caring about your little sibling, but at the same time, that is so cute, and,
yeah.
like, that, like I say, I'm actually gonna give this one to the little kid. This little kid is probably the only one who possibly has the empath ability. Because you know what? He's sitting there, he knows that his baby brother's scared and upset and he wants to cry, and as soon as he touches his little brother, he starts crying too. Like, that works for me. I will allow this.
I will allow it. This child is the only one I will accept.
Yes. Is the only acceptable one.
Absolutely.
Yes. Because he is the only one not advertising himself as one.
Well, yeah.
Oh god, that actually.
I just hope that I hope this TikTok won't give him a complex.
It's not the TikTok that'll give him the complex.
It's his parents.
No, it's gotta be the fact that that he is the only one that I have recognized as the true empath of this video.
He's gonna grow up, see this video, and be like, "What?
Yes.
Am I?
You are, young man. I hope you see this."
He's going to become the master of the mystic empath arts.
He will grow up to be the master of all of the mystics. Yes.
Master of all the
But anyways, that has been our talk about the TikTok empaths today. Please like the video if you have not yet liked the video, because this is obviously the best YouTube channel that you have ever been to. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and click on the little bell icon so that you don't miss the next video. Please say hello to Peter down in the comments, because we both want you to say hello. Please tell me what you think about the video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.